All right. We're here. Welcome back, everybody. How we doing tonight? Had to start a little later than planned. Normally we're at 9 o'clock, but Elliot today all of a sudden decided he was really interested in going to a baseball game. So he and I just got back from a baseball game. Chillicothe Paints. It's what league is that technically? Let me look this up while everybody joins us. Raphael, always first one in the chat. Brian, notification on Wednesday means one thing. Matt is going live. I appreciate you being here, man. Chillicothe Paints League. What league are they in? Frontier League. So, I'm not a huge baseball guy. I don't have a bunch of knowledge on baseball, but the Frontier League is what our local team plays, and growing up, going to Paints games was always a good time. And Elliot today, he got to meet some of the players, and they were like, yeah, you should come to the game tonight. And he was like, yes, I will be there. He was super excited that he got to meet some of the players and got an autographed ball. So they told him to sit behind the first base, to sit near first base. So that's what he told me today. And as we got there, I was like, all right, you want to go sit by first base? He was like, yeah, where's first base? Didn't even know where first base was, but he was stoked to go to the baseball game. It was amazing, though. I used to love going to Paints games as a kid, so we had a good time. Greg, Jim, Joseph, appreciate you all being here. Tonight, I do have some books for us to take a look at, some zines, rather. And they're zines that people sent in to the P.O. box. So, speaking of Seth Potter, that's funny. I just saw your email. I haven't had a chance to get back to you yet, but yes, I would love to have your book or zine, I can't remember which, sent in. We have some stuff from the P.O. box that we're going to open up and take a look at together tonight. So I'm excited to dig into that. Also, I hope you all don't mind if I crack open a cold one tonight. Dr. Pepper and cream soda. I sat down here and was about to go on and realized I didn't have anything to drink, and I'm not going to put you all through that. So let's see what we should start with first. Let me grab this here. Oh, okay. I forgot. I have mail that was sent in, and I also have a zine that I bought that I was super stoked to see and also to share. Like, I bought it knowing this is going to be a fun one to share on the live streams. All right, I think... Oh, that's the new issue, a closer. We might look at that as well. Let's see. Michael, did you make any pictures at the Paints game? Sounds like it was fun. Believe it or not, I didn't, but Elliot did. I think, yeah, here they are. So, Elliot brought his Polaroid flip that I recently shared in one of the vlogs. He got to shoot with this tonight, and he basically shot 6 photos, all from essentially the same spot. So we're working on getting the most out of our very expensive Polaroid film. But I wanted to share a couple of these. I liked this one. I really liked the light on this one here. Let me bring this over one sec. Here we go. This was essentially where we were sitting, and this was basically how every single photo was. It was this shot, but I liked this one. I liked the light, the color from it. He's shooting some like heavily expired 600 film, or no, expired I-type film at the moment in this one. But then we also, I brought out this film, which is, it was like a limited edition Retinex something or other. What is it called? See if it says it on here. Round frame Retinex edition. I think I bought 3. Yeah, I bought 6 packs when these came out, and hadn't shot any of it yet. But all of the frames have this different combination of colors in this shape. So really bizarre stuff, and he saw that and he was like, I want to use that. So he's got that, another pack of that currently loaded up in his flip. But yeah, I didn't shoot anything. I had my Z8 with me, but I didn't shoot anything. Let's see. I looked it up, and Frontier Baseball is equivalent to single A. Single A, double. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Michael Brody's first book and newest book, and I'm emotionally drained from going through both of them in the same night. What's up, Dan? Yeah, that's a heavy type of photography to consume that much of in one sitting. Stacy Kranitz's book, As It Was Given to Me, I had friends here sometime in the last month, and we were all looking at books, and that was one of them that I think it was Josh. He hadn't looked at that book yet, and he sat down with it, and just flipping through it a little bit, which it's a very dense book as well. It's not one I've ever sat down and looked through in one sitting, and a lot of the subject matter, it would be tough to do that. Like it's one that I mentioned while we were talking about it that night. I was like, I want to share that one on stream, but I need to like really plan ahead and do it properly and go through the entire book and section off or just block certain pages, because it's a pretty graphic book for sure, but it's a heavy one, and it's Appalachia like photography through and through. So I'm a little biased towards it in that for sure, but it's great work. Mr. Wheelchair Preacher says, finally caught alive as it's live. Well, thank you for being here. That's a hell of a name. I got the flip last week. It's sitting on the table waiting for me to use it. Might be road tripping to Colorado soon. I'm sure it will be riding shotgun. Hell yeah. I'm telling you, man, for a Polaroid camera, if you're going to buy one and not buy the i2, like, the lens on this thing is great. The focusing is fast. I love that they have that sonar focusing back, like the old 600 and there was probably an SX70 version. Yeah, they had SX70 sonars as well, but you get what I'm saying. The sonars were fun back in the day. Julian, what's up? Been meaning to ask, have you or will you be getting your hands on 12 Acres by Henry O. Head? So stoked for that release. I want to pick that book up for sure as soon as I can. I would like to order that one. There are a few books that I've really wanted to buy that I still haven't yet. It's just one of those things where I can't buy every book that I want, but that one is high up on the list in terms of if and when my next book order at Baltimore Photospace will probably be that one. And I feel like there was another one, I can't remember what it was, I saw the other day that I didn't even know was out, and it was already on their store. I can't remember what it was, but that is one that I definitely want to get. And if I do, I'll for sure share it here. Joseph, how are you liking the Nocton 50 1.4? Kind of wishing I got that lens instead of the 50 millimeter 1.8s. 1.8s. The Z. Sorry, I didn't see the Nikon. I read that as Nocton, I think, in my head. Kevin, what's up, brother? Fuji Instax Wide Gang. We're Polaroid gang over here, Kevin. You know this. What was I saying? I blanked. The 50 Nikon Z mount. I really like it. It depends on the photo. Like, I really there are some times when I shoot with the 35 because it's the 1.8S version, and it definitely has that like nice tack sharp look to it. And depending on what I'm shooting, sometimes I really like that. Other times I like the slightly softer, glowier look of the 1.4, not the S version. Um, but for most use cases, like even though I love the sharpness and everything of the S, all intents and purposes, like I'm not really going to be needing that over the other. You know what I mean? Like for the a little bit more light, that's one thing, but I think size and cost as well. That's what I really like about that version over the S versions. Chris, what's up? You're not late to the party. We're all late tonight. This is not the usual schedule. We're gonna start this off though because I have an amazing. Let me see here. Where are we at? Amazing one to share. This is Terrible Cameras by Natalie Baring. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Oh, by the way, I'm. Look at this. We got the table motorized again. So now, no more messing around with the camera overhead. I can just raise the desk up. Oh, 1 month, 2 cameras. Any book called Terrible Cameras is calling my name. You are going to love this one. Thank you for being here. Stoked to see you. You're going to enjoy this one. Tyler. Look at Tyler just shouting out his love for Gracie in the chat. Boy, if Gracie were with you, Tyler, if she happened to be there right now, I bet she would love that, but she's definitely not with you. Benji, no, you're not late. We're just getting started. So this right here is a handmade zine by Natalie Baring. Again, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Been a fan of her work for a while, and I saw she made this. She shared like a little sort of in the process, like as she was making it. When she announced that this was out there, you can kind of see little clips of her putting these together. But it's all by hand, all with these screws here on the side, and it's just hole punched all the way through all of these pages. And you just have these little rivets that are just screwed together, so you could, it's just your typical Phillips right there. So you can add any that you'd need to, but inside the cover here, the cutout for the photo, and everything is going to be sort of on the right hand side here. Let me read a little bit into this as well. Chicago Post. See, there he is. Leave it to Kevin to know exactly what they're called. Chicago Posts. While dejunking my office a while back, I came across a Canon PowerShot G9 in a dusty, forgotten box. I bought this camera in 2007 on the advice of an AP photographer who had successfully photographed hard news stories with it. I remember being excited that rather than being a typical point and shoot, it had settings like an SLR. I bought one and was immediately disappointed. The images were so grainy in an ugly digital way. It was not a nimble camera, and changing the settings while shooting was nearly impossible. It was cast aside and forgotten for more than a decade. When I excavated it out of the geological layer of my 30s, my first thought was to send it to the thrift store with a pile of spandex workout clothes. Luckily, it was found next to the battery charger. On a lark, I charged it to see if it even worked, and it did. Suddenly, the photos I once rejected looked fantastic. I adored the questionable quality of the images and the randomness of the shutter. The camera was so small and unassuming, no one was alarmed by this cute little amateur machine. I could take it anywhere and pop it out on a whim. I became curious about other point-and-shoots and would check my local thrift store to add to my collection. I logged onto eBay. I developed a tiny bit of a hoarding problem. I fell in love with cameras that made terrible, wonderful images. It's embarrassing to admit I never realized the impact the voice a camera had on the photo it was making. This booklet is a collection of the results of this photographic experiment, which continues to this day. Natalie Baring, Victor, Idaho, 2025. So this is, now you have the gist, and let me bring this up just a little bit here. So rad. Shout out to Peanut, RIP. What was that, 2000? Yeah, 03 to 21. That's a good run. Hey, Gregory in the chat, I believe. Did you send in some mail, Gregory? I'm pretty sure I have some mail of yours that we're going to be checking out in a little bit. Love this one. Nice, you did. Very good. I thought so. I thought the name. I haven't looked at anything yet. I've wanted to save it so we could all take a look at it together. Ricky, what's going on? Love that. First time catching the stream. Well, thanks for being here, Ricky. We're taking a look at Natalie Baring, Terrible Cameras. This is a little small book or zine that she made. Always miss it some. Hey, I get it, man. If you ever do miss it, you can always catch the replay, but being here live is a lot more fun, for sure. Gotta bounce, but this is rad. Enjoy the stream, y'all. Matt, and check your text. Hey, good looking out, Chris. I will do that. Thanks for hanging, dude. I'll talk to you soon. This book makes me so happy. See, I knew you would enjoy this one. It's, yeah, very much just fun. The format of, like, the way this is made and everything, it's just so, and again, we've talked about it before, but like scale, you know what I mean? This right here is so small and unassuming, and yeah, it's just it's accessible, you know, and I love it. Goes to show you really don't have to go above and beyond in terms of how it's going to be made or put together or concept even, you know, like just the fact that these photos were made on small, awful, you know, turn of the technology, digital point and shoot cameras, like that's all, you know, doesn't need to be anything more than that. Ricky says, it's a good book. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. I need to get back into buying photo books. Yeah, this is one that, you know, I have followed Natalie on Instagram for a while and just saw that she was putting it out there. And it's tough because, like, unless you know of the photographer, how are you going to know when it comes to like zines and the self-published kind of things? It's, you know, that's one of the more challenging things about it, because you can, you know, check out a photo book store or publishers and, you know, subscribe to their newsletters, check their inventory. Like, you can keep up with things in that way, but when it comes to self-published things, often it's just, you know, you see them talk about it, but unless you already are aware of them, it's tough. Also, I meant to ask, how is the audio tonight? Because I have a fan going behind me. You all might be like, yeah, we knew that already. Clearly, I meant to ask that earlier. I didn't have a chance to do an audio check. I came in and immediately got Elliot in the house and to bed and helped my brother out. Ran out here and we got started. So okay, cool, amazing. That is good to know because summer is hitting. The barn is only going to get warmer. Danny, so she mentioned um, in the beginning here, she mentioned starting with, what was it we said? A GX, G9, PowerShot G9 from Canon. But that was sort of just like what got this kind of ball rolling in terms of obsession with these older, cheaper point and shoots. From there, she kind of went on a rabbit hole or went down the rabbit hole and was using a bunch of different things. So I don't think I was going to say, I don't think there's like any EXIF data or anything in the back that would tell us what specific ones were made with, but yeah, they were all made with um, just old, cheap, terrible, as as the title of the zine. The point and shoots that weren't ready yet in terms of the digital technology. Oh wow. Brian says, on a side note, looks like we had another tornado in St. Louis tonight. That's two in the past few weeks. Hope everyone is safe out there, man. We we luckily, where we live, we've had very few um, serious situations where there was an actual tornado warning. Tornado watches are somewhat frequent, but all the years that I've lived here, I've never had any bad experiences. Knock on wood. Oh, right on. Yeah, Ricky, send me a message. That sounds cool. There was one of the early like blurb versions of Friend of Mine that I printed years ago. Uh, well, it was 2014. That was in one of the local coffee shops for a while, and one of the times that I was in there, someone pointed out that someone had left a note in there for me. Someone who was passing through, and they like grew up in Chillicothe. Um, from what I remember, they were maybe in their 50s or 60s when they, found the book and was looking through it in the coffee shop. And they wrote a little note in there just like on the chance that I would happen to be back in there. And it was just a little note saying like, what they remembered of the area and stuff growing up and seeing the photos that I had shot. And that was just super cool. That was like one of those things that, um, you know, obviously, like it's amazing that anyone is interested in the work and shipping the book everywhere. That's obviously like an amazing thing. But that was just one of those like more spontaneous interactions where I was like, oh, that's really cool. Oh, I appreciate that, Ricky. Finally got Eggleston's for now. It's really interesting since it's someone else making it from his archives. Yeah, that's interesting. You know, some of I don't know, like sometimes people it takes a different set of eyes to like be able to show the photos a certain way. You know, even if it's as simple as like just having someone give you feedback on a zine or a book that you're making, it helps having those other eyes. But when it's like fully someone else taking the work and just solely from them, yeah, it's interesting. It's such a big part of the process of like doing it to your own work or with your own work, I guess. I don't know. When someone else is able to take full, not necessarily authorship, but you know what I mean. It's just putting a lot in the hands of a lot of trust in others. Ricky, they have to sit separate from each other because one is larger. Yeah, if the books are going to be organized by size, which I've had to do that. My previous shelf, the shelves were different depth. It was different depth, but same height all the way up, and so it was like 5 or 6 shelves like that, and the bottom shelf, had the most depth, and it was kind of going up uh, that way. And so I had stuff from the same photographers scattered across different shelves, and I feel that. Love that one. About to the end here. Whoops. Skipped a few. Chihuahua named Petita. A lot of dogs in this scene. That's always good. Any movies you have seen lately or show maybe that you've been enjoying a lot? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got more on that. I've got a show that has been killing me. What's it printed on? So it's not. I don't know how it was printed because it's printed pretty well. Like, um, again, it's. I don't know. I don't know how it was printed or what it's printed on, but I mean, it's nice. It's definitely not thin. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then if anyone wants to check it out, oh, this is perfect. Pause the stream, pause the video, and yeah, go ahead and check it out. I need to lower the table so that, because if I jump back to that camera, just 1 minute. There we are, back. Yeah, it's a good one. Let me see here. Yeah, color profiles look pretty solid. Like I'm saying, everything looks really well. I don't know what it was printed on though, or how she did it. Okay. Movies that I've seen lately, shows. Overcompensating on Prime Video has been hilarious. And just a really good show. It's about a dude who's going to college. The guy who wrote it, Benito, I can't remember his last name. It's like it's essentially it's autobiographical. Like it's him telling his own story. I'm sure a lot of the details are ramped up to 11, but it's him going to college. He's gay, but he is not out. He's very much, figuring that side of himself, or figuring himself out and trying to, like, he's been the all-star, you know, cool guy. It's like, I sent it to several friends that I grew up with. One of them who had a very similar experience, and I was like, you could have written this. And super funny show, really good show in general as well. But yeah, Overcompensating, that was on Prime Video. So I just finished that one. Molly and I both watched that one. Oh yeah, Julian said, "Oh my god, I finished that show in one sitting. It was so good." Yeah, it was amazing. Molly and I were burning through it. I'd never heard of it. She put it on, and within a few minutes, I was just hooked in. I was sucked in. That one, and then The Last of Us season 2 just ended, and I'm a massive fan of the games, both of the first and the second game, and season 2 was so short. Kevin, love you, brother. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Season 2 was so short, and it just came and went. Like, they're essentially, I'm guessing season 3 is going to be the second half of the second game, but I don't know. I've got mixed feelings on it because I love the game, and I love a lot of the stuff that they've changed as well. Like, they've done a few things differently. Catherine O'Hara's character, is it Gale? If I remember right, she's not in the game. Yes, Benito Skinner. Thank you, Jim. That's who wrote Overcompensating, and is like the star of it. He's great, super funny. But yeah, they added characters, they changed up some characters, and they've done a lot of good stuff, I think. But it's a weird story pacing wise. I think that it's paced the way it should be paced. I'm replaying the game now because it's on the Steam Deck, so I can actually just like play it when I'm not just sitting in front of the TV, because that doesn't really happen that much. The pacing, I think, for that story needs to be the way it is, but that's a tough watch for people, especially if you don't play the game. I think it's probably a tougher watch than it is a tougher play, pacing wise. I don't know. I could keep talking, but I'm just going to keep talking in circles. And I want to share some work that people sent in. But The Last of Us Season 2, watched that. Watched Overcompensating, and I think that's really it. I started, I finished the Righteous Gemstones series finale. I've been a massive Righteous Gemstones fan for years, and that one's done. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. Other than that, I've been playing Stardew Valley in my, like, not working time or anything. Let's see here. First of all... Oh, wait, here, hold on. This one came from Gregory, and I took it out of this package, but didn't want to show your address. But look, Gregory is, I believe, still here. Yeah, in the chat. At least he was a few minutes ago. The Wax Seal. Brother, talk about a way to my heart. I love seeing something like this. I'm a stationary nerd, so let me just get a little close-up detail on that Wax Seal for you. Amazing. Love to see it. Bring this. Oh, amazing. I didn't even have to break it. I'm going to take a look at this off camera first to make sure there's nothing like... Okay, cool. You never know. Sometimes people will include like personal details, or I'll open it up and there will be another envelope with the same address. I'm not trying to no nudes. I knew it wasn't anything like that. But I wasn't trying to guess or what's dox anybody. That's the word I'm looking for. I wasn't trying to dox anybody. So we got some prints here that Gregory sent in. Very nice. Got some portrait or a photo of a friend, maybe. Just have to lay these out here. So Gregory, are you in New York? Were you traveling to New York? Where are you at here in some of these photos? And actually, since you're here, if you want to tell us anything about them, feel free. Got some prints here, 5x7 maybe. Oh, okay. In Tampa, took the wife to NYC for her B-Day. Well, very nice. So this was just on a trip for you. Well, right on. I like this one. I think out of all of these, if I had to pick one of them, I like this one. Being able to see his face really clearly in the expression here. Sorry, Carlos says, don't send in the zine I made of all nude self-portraits. Heard loud and clear. Yeah, I mean, you know, time and place, Carlos. Yeah, I like this one, I think, the most. I feel like I've seen this shot, this one here, you know, from that perspective. But obviously it was framed well. Yeah, the tree one, this one here looks like it was taken like mid-walk. Might have been just sort of like pull up, kind of like shooting from the hip maybe. Normally, like her head being cut off right there, there's something about the way that she's like clutching her phone with her hands. She's got some Nosferatu hand going there, clutching over the phone. There's something about it that I'm like, yeah, I actually do like. I pass, like I give the cutoff a pass. I'm assuming that wasn't an intentional. This looks like the way everything feels like it was a quick, you know, pull up quick shoot. It wasn't a like slow photo. You know what I mean? But I actually like that. Actually, one of the photos in Friend of Mine, I had my camera. If this photo of yours was my camera, I was holding it like this, you know, so the lens was right here protruding out this way. And I just shot it like this of someone who was standing right here. As I was talking to them, we were just talking, and I had the camera and I held it out and shot it this way. And her face got completely cut off on this part of the frame. But the way it happened, I liked the way that looked in the photo, and it was a total accident. So, yeah, I think out of these, yeah, probably, I don't know. See, now I talked myself into that one. These ones don't stand out as much to me, or I guess grab my attention as much. Still rad photos, though. I mean, there's something about like all of the light. His face is so well lit, shooting up like that. I don't know, but hell yeah. Appreciate you sending those in, Gregory. The Wolf Night one is the same spot as Paul's Boutique. Paul's Boutique. Which one is that? I see the Wolf Nights spot here, but I'm blanking on what Paul's Boutique is. Scott Dunn, I appreciate you. Beastie Boys. I'm still. Is that a Beastie Boys reference? Because I might just not know enough about the Beastie Boys to get that one. But thank you for sending these in, Gregory. I appreciate it. Famous album of theirs. Oh, okay. Oh, the album cover. Okay, I gotcha. It did look... Okay. I think I see what you're saying now. That's rad. Yeah, Beastie Boys, I don't know a ton of their music. I know the like, you know, the popular ones. Um, I had friends who had their CDs, so like I'm sure I heard in the car and stuff other songs of theirs, but I couldn't tell you any of them. I remember my friends used that Girls song in a skate video a long time ago, and I was like, I didn't know when they told me it was the Beastie Boys. I was shocked. But yeah. Let's take a look. We've got another one here that was sent in. Let's see here. Let me pull. I was going to say, I thought this one had a letter. Read this real quick. See, basically I want to make sure see if there's any context that would be worth sharing with all of you. But I also am not going to share everything. That's the nice thing as well. Sometimes, the letters are some of my favorite parts. Hell yeah. So this is from Kyle Latham. It's called No Fear, No Envy, No Meanness. At least I'm assuming that's not a... Yeah, okay. Yes. Sorry, just want to make sure I got all that right. Turning 40 this year, he says, and he's been playing in bands since his early teens. Everything stopped with the pandemic in terms of like playing live music, and basically said that he was finding other things that he was interested in during that time. Says in 2022, I picked up a camera for the first time, and as the world started opening back up, I began documenting the Seattle music scene, shooting shows and doing portraits, and just fell in love with photography. And then just kind of goes on talking about, finding photography that way, and, what got him going and how he came to make this. So again, this is No Fear, No Envy, No Meanness by Kyle Latham. So shout out to Kyle for sending this in. This is an edition of 60, it looks like. Bring this up just a little bit again. Might need to stand up a little. One sec. Okay, there we go. Like that one, that light on her eye, might be hard to see there. It's like a little patch of light on the right eye. Really beautiful light on that one. Julian says, "What is this paper? It's beautiful." So maybe it says in the back where it was printed. I'm not sure, but it feels. I've had some zines printed through Mixam, like not me personally, but zines that I bought from friends. This feels. I would. I don't know. I might have to reach out. I don't know if he included his email or anything in there, but I like that, his expression here and the dogs. um, but yeah, if I can find out, it feels like a Mixam type zine. But yeah, it looks good. Yeah. Says looks like the satin paper that Mixam does. Right, yeah, that I didn't know what it was called. It has that same, not quite matte, but also not, gloss or luster. It's fly. Yeah, I like a lot of the pairings so far. The way certain photos play off of another that are next to one another for for just picking up a camera a few years ago as well. Another important thing to keep in mind. Yeah, exactly. Creeped out. The same exact thing that I was saying at the same time. Says, dude is really good for only shooting since 2022. Great eye. Exactly. Like, I feel like I don't know what that is. What is it the information that's out there nowadays when it comes to like everything? I feel like people progress at such, it's so similar to skateboarding in the way that like what would have been the final trick in the last part of a video that people worked on for years is stuff that literal children are doing today, and it's being posted on Instagram and people forget about it in, a few minutes. Like it just, the way everything progresses now so fast, it's wild. Some people are just good, man. Yeah, that's the truth. Some people just pick things up and they're natural. I love this one here. Whatever the gesture, standing in the circle and also like almost right on the intersection, right there in those lines. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Person here in this circle, this person being framed up here. Yeah, this is a rad one. Vanzini, what's going on? Matt, who you got winning the Money in the Bank? Oh, man. Oh, let's see. I mean, is it. I kind of think we're going Rollins. I think as maybe as too obvious that would be. I kind of think we're running it back, and I'm not mad at it because I've always been a Rollins fan since the Shield. So yeah, I gotta go with Rollins. It just makes sense. You know what I mean? When I started shooting, I showed someone who is now a lifelong friend my work, and the first thing they told me was I have a natural eye. Hell yeah. Some people do. Julian. No, I'm calling bullcrap. 2022. This is nuts. So sorry. What's his name again? All good. Kyle Latham. Try and get the camera to focus on the name. Maybe there you go. Latham. If there is any. Yeah, all of these photos were made in 2024. Sick. I was going to say, no, Kyle, if you're watching, always include an email, a website, Instagram handle, something. Because now I don't know how to get a hold of you, brother. But yeah. But yeah, if whether it be, let me check the note here. He might have included something here. Nope. I'm gonna have to just straight up. I got his address. I'm just gonna have to write a physical letter to him. You know what? I'm gonna do that. I don't give a shit. I'll write a letter and I'll follow up with questions. Say, what did you print it with? Julian was curious. And where can we find you online? He's nice with it. Let's track him down. That's the thing. I mean, he knows this space exists. He said so in the letter, so he might be watching this video. Maybe not the live stream, but maybe he'll catch this upload or the replay of the stream. Yeah, talk about just literally like just hitting the ground running with it. I mean, this is a dense little zine, you know. These photos were made in 2024 in my home of Seattle. They mark my first year of walking with a camera with intention, an effort to see, to learn, and to grow. I wanted something tangible to look back on, like a mark on a door frame, a small record of where I've been. And then, all right, we've got eyes on the suspect. That's him right there in the mirror. If anyone sees this man, let him know we're all trying to find him, find out how to get a hold of him. It says, endless thanks to my partner Taryn, as well as our two pups, Charlie and Earl. Shout out to Taryn and Charlie and Earl. It takes a village. Those were my... I added that part. He just said, endless thanks to my partner Taryn, as well as our two pups, Charlie and Earl, who were companions on many of these wanders. Special thanks to my old friend Cassandra Peaster for creating the title artwork. Special gratitude to Ruben Radding, nice, for his guidance on sequencing, and to Ryder Collins for his wisdom and inspiration. Thank you for taking the time to look. I hope that you can feel the love in these photos. Kyle Latham. That's a nice little banger of a shot to end on as well. Ruben Radding, shout out to Pauly B on Pauly B's channel, Office Hours with Ruben Radding. Really, really good every single time, so check that series out if you're not already hip to it. And yeah, that was No Fear, No Envy, No Meanness by Kyle Latham. Bring the desk down here. Yeah, these are great. You know what? Let's just do a little check. Was no fear, no envy, no meanness. Oh, looks like it's sold out. Oh wait, okay. It wasn't that hard to find them. On Instagram, but it looks like, yeah, it's sold out. Well, never mind. But it's out there. Or he's out there. Yeah, thank you, Kyle, for sending that in. I'll get a hold of you somehow, and we'll talk more about it. But let me pull this back up. Here we go. Um, am I getting the Switch 2 tomorrow? No. That's another. That's that like other books has been added to the list of not right now. um, one thing, the only thing that I have that is more expensive than this hobby career whatever of photography. The only thing more expensive is children, and these days it seems like every trip to the grocery store, every trip leaving our house, we don't even have to leave the house, and I'll still. It seems like we're just hemorrhaging money because of how much these kids eat and are growing out of everything. It's typical, like what you would expect when raising three kids. So Elliot is very much up to date on everything with the Switch 2 and when it's coming out and what games are coming out. And he's going to be waiting for a while on that one. He still has plenty of games on his regular Switch that he hasn't beaten yet. And I always remind him that when I was a kid, I didn't get a game until I beat it, until I beat the game that I had before. Whereas he'll be all about a brand new game, and doesn't take long until he's back to, just playing on Fortnite or whatever else. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Steam Deck over the Switch 2, don't at me. See, I'm with you. That's all I really play. I play PS5 with Elliot, but rarely ever do I play anything other than my Steam Deck, because it's like I will play in little bite-sized bits of time. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting down in front of the TV and playing for hours like I could when I didn't have three kids. So lately, though, my gaming has been at night after everyone's asleep, which I actually did. I have an adapter to stream with the Steam Deck, like cast it to a TV or whatever. Not cast it, but the actual HDMI input. And I tested that out just to see if I could get it up and working with OBS, and it did work. So at some point, I will be doing a different stream, not on the same channel, because I'm sure some people would just not want to even see it pop up in their feed if it's not photography related, which is fair. So I will probably make some other, whether it be just a Twitch or just a separate YouTube that I stream from, something for gaming at some point. That'll happen. But yeah. 500 hours in Fallout 4. That's one that I actually haven't played. Fallout 3, I think, was the one. 3 in New Vegas. All of my friends played back in the day. And then when 4 came out, I was like, I might try that one. And I never did. Yeah, I haven't played any of the Fallout games. Missed one. Feel like I did. Oh, okay, there it is. Yeah, food and Nintendo. That is without a doubt what I spend a small fortune on with Elliot. Marvel Rivals. I don't think I've played, or I don't think I've seen that one. I mean, I know I haven't played it, but I don't think I have seen that one. I'm about to propose to my girlfriend in the next month or so. Any advice? Well, I'm sure everything will go well, but obviously, best of luck to you, and early congratulations. Any advice on the proposal, or just the next step, and just the next forever with marriage? What do you specifically want advice on? And I can't say I'm going to give you the best advice, but I'll certainly talk to you about it. I always wait until there's at least 5 games I want to play on a new system. My Switch backlog was judging me for my Switch 2 pre-order, so I canceled it. Hey, there you go. See, you at the very least, you know, you recognized it. Um, yeah, I my backlog on the Steam Deck right now. The Steam has those crazy sales where you can buy games for literally like $1, and it's like it would be if I'm even remotely interested in it, it's like I'll add it to the backlog. Um, so I feel like I've got a few on there, and really I want to play the new Donkey Kong game because the Donkey Kong Country franchise was like my still is one of my all-time favorite series, the Super Nintendo series. Um, and the more modern Tropical Freeze and the first one, Returns, those were good, and I want to play the new 3D one, but it's just one of those things where it's like year after year I have a little less time, and also just less. I've always been a massive gamer, like growing up, but as I've gotten older, I've just obviously, it changes. Uh, let's chat retro cameras. Looks like Canon is getting ready to jump. Oh, really? Canon's gonna do like their version of the ZF or the Fuji cameras. Um, interesting. I really, as much as I enjoy the Z8, it's made me more and more want to try the ZF, like rent one and see if spending more time with it than just an hour or two would make me feel, I guess, more interested in it. Um, yeah, I would want a grip, I think. Holding the camera without a grip, I was like, this feels awful. But it looks and otherwise felt similar to, a digital FM2. It still had more buttons and stuff on the back than I would have wanted. I would have still stripped it down a little bit further uh, to go even more in that direction of the like film retro feel. But still, it's full frame, and so you're adapting your lenses. It's not going to be cropped like it would be on a Fuji camera, so that's nice. Um, so it'll be interesting if Canon does go that route and they make sort of a retro style. It'll be interesting to see how that takes on with that crowd, I guess, or like the people who have RF glass. If it's going to be a mirrorless camera and RF mount, um, maybe they have smaller. I was going to say I feel like most RF glass is pretty big, but maybe they're going to make. I mean, Nikon made a couple smaller film look like the retro styled versions of some of their smaller lenses. So maybe Canon does have stuff that would work well, but when I had the EOS R, and I really liked that camera, and I liked the lenses, but the lenses were just, it was like Maxwell House coffee cans on the front of that camera. Those things were huge. Next step, forever, the ups and downs. Oh my God. I could be talking all night if we're just talking general advice for the next step. Um, trust in time more than anything. There are going to be seasons of ups, of downs, of everything, and yeah, just trust in that. Know that you're gonna have difficult times, and I mean, it's so hard to not. It's so hard to give advice without going like literally sitting here talking to you in front of me and knowing more about you. But at the same time, it's going to be a lot of like, I don't know, when people, at least when I was younger, you'd hear a lot of the stuff people would say, like, you know, that sort of thing. Be patient with one another, and it takes time, and there's going to be, you know, a lot of the cliche stuff is actually true. You know what I mean? And no amount of like hearing someone say it is going to prepare you for it. You just have to experience it. And I guess similar to the advice that I give when people ask about parenting advice, a lot of like soon to be new dads message me, which is nice. I'm glad that people feel comfortable enough to hit me up and ask that. But like people are going to give you so much advice that's unsolicited, unwarranted, unrealistic. You're like, people love to tell you what to expect and tell you what to do. And like, you're going to know better than anybody what's right. You literally just got to take everything one day at a time, no matter what it is. Like, that is the only realistic, genuine advice that I can give, is like, take it a day at a time, and don't sweat it when your story, your path, whatever you want to call it, like, if that doesn't line up with what you thought it was going to be, what others thought it was going to be, or what others told you it was going to be, don't let any of that take away from like what is right now. Like, that's all you've got. It's not what you thought it was going to be, or this or that. Like, what you've got right now is literally it. And yeah, I tell that to people with kids, where I'm like, it happens and moves so fast, and so many people are going to try to like tell you how it should go, and that's not on anyone else's hand, or it's not up to anybody else but you. So I'll leave it at that. Congratulations again, early congratulations. Best of luck to you. But yeah, focus on love and make sure that is the driving force behind any of the decisions. And that's it. So I don't know. Those are just my 2 cents for tonight. But it's late, and I could go on and on about that. Gregory says never go to bed mad. That's another classic one that you'll hear, and it's accurate, you know. Talk it out. Have the tough talks. It's part of it, you know. You can't run from anything, especially if it's something, you know, something right in front of you with your spouse, your best friend. Yeah, have the tough talks. Got a used Nikon ZF. It came with 2 grips. The grips are also tripod mounts. I enjoy the ZF without the grips more, but unsure if I need 2 grips. Yeah, sometimes cameras I've had where I'm like, depending on what I'm shooting, I want mostly for video use, I guess, but sometimes you want to have a more stripped down, you know, lightweight, smaller setup, so that makes sense. The great Vanzini says, great advice, says this old grandpa. Well, hell yeah. I'll take that. People generally put way too much weight on their anecdotal experience. Yeah, without a doubt. Let's see. Oh, that's sick. Uh, sorry, I missed this one, so I'm catching up. Yeah, okay, here it was. Ian said you should do a video on the intersection of video games and photography. A lot of directions that could go. And then Seth said during the pandemic, there was a fellow doing street photography in Red Dead Redemption 2 since he couldn't go out. I feel like I do remember, because that was before I played the game, but I think I remember seeing that. Um, every once in a while, I honestly have thought about that because the games that have the photo mode, I find myself doing that way more often than you might think. Like anytime, whether it's a cutscene or while I'm playing, because I'm doing it right now on that replay of The Last of Us 2. But on Days Gone, that game has photo mode as well. And so you can pause the game at any time and then take control of the camera. And that one you can control a lot. You can, like, I know you can control specifically the distance on like where your focus is set, the depth of field on the camera, a lot of different like filters or whatever. You can do a lot on that game, and Days Gone is, I think, a criminally underrated game. If you like open world games, if you like zombie games, it's those two combined. But I feel like it had a rough launch, and it had a rough launch with some bugs, and I think it also kind of happened at like the time where we had so many zombie everything games and shows and movies. For this was like after The Walking Dead had already like peaked, then that game came out, and so people were, I think, already just kind of over the zombie anything at that point. um but now it's like the game runs better and it's on more platforms. It's such a fun game. Yeah, Ian says we need Days Gone too. Exactly. I have been saying that. I'm like, I've played through that one on Steam and on PlayStation. Uh, and both times I was like, yeah, it's just such a fun, and it's one of those games that the atmosphere and the world, like I could just literally just ride the motorcycle around all over the map and it never gets old. Yeah, that's a super fun one. So I don't know, but that would be fun. Doing some sort of photography game crossover. We have the Game Boy camera, and Elliot uses that a decent amount. And I even have a little. It's called a BitBoy, and it essentially takes the cable that you would use to plug in for the Game Boy printer, and it just transfers it to a little SD card, and then I import that, and then take it into Photoshop, change the color palette on it so that I can add that same green kind of color palette that the original Game Boy had. Otherwise, it's just a monochrome, just a black and white pixelated image. But you could take that and do anything with it. Um, in fact, I've wanted to take the black and white prints and then physically, paint them or color them in some way. I've been Xeroxing a bunch of stuff, or like just making scans and copies with this laser printer that I have, and it's given me like, well, first, like this one here, this is just a test strip that I had in the darkroom, but I just ran it through the copier because I just thought, what would it look like if I just laser printed a black and white, just feeding it through the copier like you would in an office? What would a black and white laser print, quick and dirty, what would that look like if I'm making copies of like a darkroom print? Or this one, I took a gel plate print that I made on construction paper and then just fed it through the copier and printed it out this way. So it's got me thinking about like, how far can I make a copy of a copy of a copy of a photo? How many processes can I pass a photo through, and just continue making things? And so I have been going on like just a bunch of different things, experiments, messing around with the little laser printer and scanner because I'm like, I wanna make more quick and dirty, cheap, small run zines and stuff like that, just for fun. So I don't know. I've been experimenting with that over the last few nights, and the Game Boy camera. That's been another thing, that printing those off with the little laser jet and make like a little small Game Boy camera zine. I think Elliot would have a lot of fun with that. Yeah, exactly. Remembering the second game that released for the Macintosh called The Uninvited. Damn, I'm old. That's amazing, Jim. Yeah, it's funny. Elliot he'll bring up certain games and ask if sometimes Elliot will ask me like if we had color TVs when I was a kid. I was born in 1990, so um, but yeah, the zines and making scans of stuff, just doing more experimentation with stuff. I kind of want to get more into that this summer, but I think that's going to do it for this stream tonight, y'all. It's late here. I am definitely beat. It's been a busy week so far. Busy summer so far, but it's been super fun. Yeah, I've filmed a bunch of stuff over the last few days that I'll be putting in a vlog soon, so I'm excited for you guys to see that. I'm sitting in a room in a sound art piece that features Lucier recording himself, narrating a text, and then playing the tape recording back into the room while re-recording it. See, that is a trip. It's that kind of stuff. I want to experiment more with that with photos, in the same way. Like, how far can we stretch something and distort something to the point that it's not even the same thing anymore? Now it's something completely new. That's what I like about the alternative process stuff, because it transforms all of it. You know what I mean? Like how you view the work, how it, I don't know. Yeah, it just changes all of it. But yeah, appreciate y'all being here. Raph, thank you. I appreciate that. If you guys have any questions or anything that you want to see in the next stream, let me know. Big shout out to Gregory as well. Gregory and Kyle for sending in stuff to the P.O. Box. Seth, if you're still here, I'll shoot you an email. But P.O. Box 2006, Chillicothe, Ohio. You can find that. I'm pretty sure it's that address is on my YouTube. P.O. Box 2006. Let me add it in the chat here real quick. And that's Chillicothe, Ohio. There you go. If you ever want to send anything in, that's where you can send it. I've had that P.O. Box for almost as long as I've had the YouTube channel. So people have been sending stuff to that one for a long time now, which is rad. But yeah, big shout out to Gregory and Kyle for sending stuff in. If you ever want to send anything in, that's where you can send it. It'll either likely pop up on stream like this or in a vlog or something, just whenever. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, catch the beginning of it on the replay. Time to get weird. Hell yeah, Tim. Yeah, appreciate y'all. Thank you again for hanging with me. I will see you guys next week.